Kevin!
Not an ISTJ. Right?
Shit, I got it wrong!
Typing yourself upside down or right side up.
Yeah.
Yes, you are not the most controlling, focused, narrowed in, aggressive to the details and elimination of new information kind of guy.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. My guess is that he's probably 90% right.
His type seems to always figure out, like one of the few to always kind of figure out what their type actually is.
Right.
So you probably have got the same type that we got.
Right. Well, from gathering his little like spit outs, well, let's get into this right now. I think he thinks he is a decider.
Oh, sure.
So that would be the one thing that, you know.
Yeah.
That was the 10% I was leaving room for.
Yeah.
I don't know. He just kept mentioning IP issues. IP.
Yeah, but also in the context, he might also kind of be thinking
asking about a buddy.
Yeah, or seeing his decidery issues and going, I have decidery issues.
Right.
Is that making me a decider?
Right.
But the overall, kind of getting into it, the overall kind of like, well, one thing that we're asking is like, why do people come to us? What is their bottom line? Like, why go to somebody on the internet and ask them for stuff? And what we see consistently is when we really get to know why is somebody coming to us, the deciders are going, yeah. This information help me know more about me.
Yep.
Help me know more about this drama situation of my
Totally.
identity and the situation. Now, everybody
Totally.
has that, right?
Right.
But the deciders are zeroed in on like, that is the core issue.
Right.
The observers also have the same thing. Help me figure out me. Help me
Yes.
figure out what to do.
But
There's a middleman. I just need some help with the information. And then I
Totally.
can figure out the decider.
like one thing we were talking about yesterday, because we had a couple in a row, is how the like lead SIs will ask to be understood. So it's like, think about like Demon NE of like, please understand the information about me.
Right.
And help me understand that information about me.
So here's just an interesting pattern we're seeing, Kevin, that you'd be interested in, I'm sure. We're seeing that, you know how like we're all kind of born stock female, right? In the genes in the womb.
Right.
And like one gets a chromosome and turns male, and the other one just kind of stays female, kind of oversimplifying it.
Yeah.
So men have nipples, you know? And so it's kind of like we're all deciders at heart.
Yes.
We all care the most about self and tribe. But half of us have this middleman of the way I'm going to be valuable to myself and the tribe is through this observation gimmick.
Right.
Through this control chaos game. And the deciders...
Gathering or limiting or gathering or limiting. Do I
Right.
gather? Do I limit? Do I limit too much? I limited too much. I need to gather
And the
more.
decider is a little bit more straightforward, where they're just like, no, I'm a decider going for decider stuff.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
everybody has the same core priority, commonality of self and tribe issues, but is somebody putting in this middleman of help me with the missing information.
There you go.
And what Kevin was trying to help us with, he wanted to make sure
Let
we
me
didn't.
give you more information. I'm really nervous that you're not going to get my type right. So let me give you more information.
Right. It's a very consistent thing we see.
Yeah, totally.
So-
Totally. So yeah, both of us, by the way, we both did get your type exactly the same.
Yeah.
So, take that for what you will.
Yes. And thank you for your more information.
True. I would say, which video was it? It was like the 30-minute video.
In the car or whatever it was.
It wasn't in the car.
Or the
It
dark,
was in the dark.
the dark room thing.
Yeah, it was a 30-minute video where you're in the dark, but you went over some more processing, and that definitely, like, I couldn't prove parts that I was seeing before until I saw that one, and I was like, okay, there you go. That
Right.
was what I was seeing. I just couldn't prove it. So
And to give you a little, you kind of mentioned this on your video, Kevin, of like, how are we doing the objective typing? When we're doing it like for science or for the Opt 100, when we're trying to get it right, that's when we're going to go through great lengths of like typing people for days and using masking.
Yeah.
With clients, we do a lot of bullshitting, and so we'll tell the client like, hey, we kind of slopped on these parts or guessed or got them wrong and then came to an agreement on these parts and not these. There was a guy that we just had previous this week that was just like the same type as him, right?
Exactly the same type as him,
Yeah,
and
and
I
we-
got one of the parts wrong
Right.
because the video was shitty.
Right.
And it's like, well,
We're just honest about it.
well, I shouldn't blame the video. It was my fault. I was sloppy typing. But
Whatever. The point is, like, we'll just be honest about it, and then
Yeah.
knowing that it's like on our page, we're like, look, what's why we set the bar below? Like, send us your video.
all we're doing is sending you a video back with our opinions.
Disclaimer up the ass.
Yes.
So we do a fast and loose version for people to kind of get more effectiveness,
Right.
And then it's very different with science,
Right, but we're extremely honest about it. Like, do we feel like we legitimately got your type right? Like, oh yeah. Like, but again, it's just two idiots with their subjective opinions. We happen to get the same type. Take that for what you will.
Yeah, the only other thing that helps is going, you have to kind of see it to believe it, is like, yes, we actually are watching you at separate times and typing you individually and statistically getting the same number.
Right.
And then, that's for me, it's like, wow, you got the same number out of the hat. Okay, that's some objectivity going on.
Yeah. I know he was mentioning like how you and your friend got the same type. I have no idea what type you guys got and if it's different from ours. Oh no, but like
It's 1 out of 2.
Yeah, 1 out of 2. Like, we noticed a couple people trying to play the same game as us, and like that's neat and all. But once you start doing the repetitive thing,
Right.
where you're trying to get 10 out of 10, 20 out
Right,
of 20,
right.
that's when you can start going, okay, because anybody can coin flip. That's why we talk about coin flips. It's Aaron Brown.
Right.
He can show that you can. According to statistics, you will eventually hit 10 coin flips in a row. And anybody who's watching at that moment is like, oh my God, it's a miracle. This is so amazing. You did 10 coin
Just some
heads in a row.
side interest on that. Like, there's some INFJ line of docs that we have, and they're like 3 or 4 Asian guys in a row. And we're like, is the
all INFJs
or like
are Asian.
ENFJs and like African Americans. We're like,
Right.
is type related to race? And I think it's
ESTPs, all black guys.
I think it's just a lot of it is just random. Like
It's totally random.
You just see like a statistic class. If I could go back in time and like actually choose my college courses, I would want to understand more about, not that I can't do it now on the
Right.
internet, but
Right.
more about how many crazy odds actually happen where you'll get 10 in a row.
Yeah.
It's completely random. If you're doing it out of 10,000,
Right.
it's completely random.
Right.
So
Right, and it's also what you are selectively looking for. I mean,
Yeah.
what is it, the reticular activated
Yeah,
system where you're
Right.
specifically looking for something and then you find it. Like, go calculate how many people of that same race are in all of the dogs.
So that's just an any tangent for you.
Not jumping ahead.
Not that you would value any tangents selfishly and randomly. NF hippie. Do you even depression beard, bro? I love as the videos get like
We're just going
having
on.
an existential crisis. Having an FI beard. Track that one.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Oh my God. But like, you can't use shit like that, but it's stereotypically
Yeah, wait till you
true.
see your doc. I'll get it ready.
He already knows his doc. You know your doc. We show it all the time.
Yeah.
But let's, get
Yeah,
on with it.
Let's pretend. So yes, on the selfish, and if you are self-above tribe, you are doing a horrible job.
Like you said, that was so good.
Yeah.
I loved it. It's
Yeah.
like, if I am tribe above self, I am doing a really bad job consistently over time.
Right. And it's
That's exactly what we're tracking too. Like, yes, like you did it. You explained it so well. That's exactly what we're talking about in the class. It's like, look what I did. I moved the guy's bag for him. It's like,
Right.
good job once.
right. And the thing in the IP's mind, or the IP, kind of archetypal of
The DI.
the self above tribe, and the IP being the most of that.
Yeah.
The thought process is I got to put my oxygen mask on first before I help the idiot next to me.
That's a perfect analogy for that.
Yeah, I got to get
Totally.
myself settled,
Yeah,
myself built
yeah.
up. Then I'll get around to it. Then I'll be the EJ. Then I'll be the helper of the tribe. And
Because
so-
you're not seeking everybody else's. Like, what the extroverted decider is doing is asking everyone else about who they are. Like, my value comes from whatever the tribe decides I am. And it's the opposite with the introvert decider.
It's the same as like, does an EJ want to know their identity? Of course.
Of
That's their
course.
lifelong goal.
Duh.
Does an IP want to help the tribe?
Right.
Yes, it's their lifelong goal. They just haven't got there yet.
And the addiction is going to constantly be putting them towards those savior functions, even though they want their demons. They can't help but just run themselves in that
Exactly.
right-footed man circle.
I want to go out and help the tribe, but oh man, there goes another 8 hours of playing video games. What time is it?
Right. That's exactly it. Yeah. Totally.
And then just
to health.
Yeah, gathering to gathering to gathering to gathering.
More,
and,
more,
you know,
more, new.
That being the
new.
addictive
Yeah.
overload. an over gathering extreme issue, and then going, now I have all these logs that I've collected, and I haven't sorted them, I haven't got rid of them, I haven't burned them, I haven't organized them.
Right.
But I'm gathering more.
Right. He's even saying, like, at one point in his videos, he's like, shoot, is this just another, like, thing I'm interested in with our op stuff? He, like, reflected, like, oh, crap.
We just a side note on that, like when we get down to all the people that are your same type, we do see exactly that, what you're seeing there, of how your type in particular, not that everybody doesn't do this, of course,
right,
but yes, they'll be obsessive into different things and then change around. But we're also seeing that they will have like a common thread of like, when I was a kid, I decided I got into music or this career, and like, and that's my identity is locked onto that, and that's the one core thing.
When their FI locks onto something?
Right. That right there. Save your FI, save your NE.
Just skip to that.
Yeah. He likes to jump around. Don't follow the structure, you jerks. Why would you want to control him? Gosh, you're such a jerk.
We're kicking his ass already.
Yeah.
He can take it because you're a double decider.
Yes. Yes, you can flow with that.
Totally.
It was also really great hanging out with him on the
I know.
Zoom cam.
I was like, this guy's so great. I'm really glad you came to that meeting. That was way cool.
Yeah, just a little side note on that. Like, it was interesting. Like,
who stayed?
Yeah, it was also like, we took a couple screen captures of the thing, and it was kind of like, it was like, who was the other girl? This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like her, and I'm like
Kevin.
Like I wrote down on my card, like I wrote down her name, your name,
Qatar,
and a couple other people that I was like, who is that?
Who is intensely interested?
Right, and then she's like, oh, that's Kevin. That's the guy we got coming up next week.
I know. You're like, Kevin.
Yeah.
This guy.
Right. So
we like you.
Yeah. And
Dave is sharing his FI.
Yeah.
I know he's worried. He's like, I want you to like me, so I don't want to share my bad stuff. I told him, I'm like, we're only going to like you if you show your bad stuff.
In fact, that is the fastest way for me to hate you, is try and hide your bad stuff.
True.
Because then you're just a weirdo, you're a jerk, you're a kid. You know, like,
right.
I broke this thing. I did a horrible bet. Come on, let's go. What is it? Well, hurry up.
I already am going to find out, so it's just annoying that you're wasting time.
I do get it. Like,
right, of course. It's a natural human. Like, it comes with the tribe stuff of not wanting to get eliminated from the tribe.
Right.
And the normal social rule is if you do this bad thing, then you're bad, because everyone is scared of their own shadow. So you should be afraid of that in the normal day-to-day social bullshit situation. You absolutely should be scared of sharing those things.
And hide that shit as long as you can.
Absolutely. And that's the reality.
Right.
But because we actually are choosing to solve those problems in real, I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, no, we're trying to solve those problems. So get them out. Get them out. Put them on the table. Yeah, you do suck. You really suck. We're going to talk about how much you suck.
A big thing with the operator training is stuff like watching Live Leak every day for years on end. And, just kind of getting morbid here for a little bit here. Like, even kind of like Live Leak isn't necessarily like a gore channel, though it has little avenues of that.
Yeah.
But like with the internet, we can get access to the most horrible, illegal stuff in the world as far as watching it.
Right.
And it's a desensitizing thing. And so it's seeing that whatever bad you've done or I've done or anybody's done, there is so much worse out there, as well as you start to realize that everybody has done horrible. Like, for example, this one you won't like. The worst thing you've ever done in your life is still yet to come. Your hands will get so dirty in the next 20 to 30 years of like the horrible, evil things you're going to have to do are still yet to come.
Right.
And there's no way around it.
That's going to terrify him.
You know, and if you want to hide in your mommy's basement and stay protected, that
you're going to do it even worse.
That now becomes a horrible thing.
You know what I like to think about is like how much Hitler absolutely, I mean, when you watch any of his interviews of him on camera, do you think for 1 second that guy ever thought he wasn't doing anything other than protecting himself?
He from myself watching him years ago, he had a really, really good heart for his people.
For his people.
He was really trying to bring up his people. Yeah.
Crazy, huh? So like that mindset, he was in full belief, like, no, I am protecting my people. I am doing whatever it takes to protect my people.
Yeah. Yeah,
Crazy.
he had a very pure, in his mind, in his group, because the Germans
Pure
even came down.
intention, you know.
Yeah.
But from our outside perspective, the other side is going, hey, but you're killing off my people. Well, you know, I don't care about that.
Yeah, just a last side note on that. We had a lot of struggles growing up Christian, very intensely Christian, kind of more non-denominational / Baptist kind of avenue. You know, we had Seventh-day Adventist friends and stuff. Totally get it. Not a cult. What was hard at the time, and this isn't. I don't blame the fault of the Bible. Like the structure of the Bible is really great. It's really sound. But how, like what you're seeing in your groups there, like how we as people would interpret it, we would put a lot of this weird guilt on us
Totally.
that isn't coming from the Bible structure, but like this weird perversion between good and bad, light and darkness, and like I'm good or I'm bad. I'm feeling guilty and shameful, and like yes, the cross of Christ is to offload that, and it's kind of a weird, kind of religious kind of way to do it. That what works, right? But what we found in this is really kind of accepting the flow of the light and darkness.
Yeah, definitely. Because that is a part of reality, and we've gotten to the point where we realize how much is required of us as these animals in reality. The survival game that we are playing is, you have to actually realize how much you are killing another life, whether it's a vegetable or anything else, to survive. Like that process of life and death is constantly going on every day, and that is reality. So guess what? You're a killer every day to give yourself life source. Your life source wouldn't exist
And the worst sin
unless
is just
you took
lying about it.
Yeah.
Being ignorant of it.
Yeah.
Not being one with it.
And we play this weird social game so that we all can kind of live in some fake light land and not talk about the darkness. And the more we go towards like tools that allow us to get outside of the survival role of like killing in the forest and all that kind of stuff, on like I got a refrigerator, it keeps everything cold, I have deliveries to my house, like the more we go towards that land of fake and non like survival boots on ground, the more we're allowed to play this fake game. And so everybody socially is like, you're nice to me, right? Yep, we're all nice, everybody's happy all the time. And even though there's this very dark underlying layer. So it's like the more you're balancing these two worlds, the more you can actually deal with things happening in reality.
Right. Because lots more bad's coming. So the bottom line that we got was the consume play. In fact, in that order as well. And
Yep.
the life issues are overgathering and then wanting to do something with it.
Yeah. One thing he explained really well, he was saying that this one kid came to his work that is working there, I guess, or an intern. I couldn't tell. I didn't remember the details there. But he was explaining that he was showing him around and telling him all the different things he could do. And I was like, that's a very interesting way to explain it. That's definitely play energy. What you're doing is showing all the options of what we can do. You know, I'm talking with and, you know, interacting with the tribe. Here's all your options. Let's do it, you know. And Blast is very different than that.
Yeah, the demon coin of that is what I naturally do, the opposite of that. You're a play consume,
Skipper.
and I'm a sleep blast.
Yeah.
And that is reworking the same information and sharing it.
Yeah.
And that's what you're expressing in your videos of how hard it is to do the videos, how hard it is to jump in, how hard it is to start new stuff, the
Right.
perfectionism, just wanting to consume more, to want to share and communicate. It's just hard to beat it out of you.
Right.
And then let alone, what are you going to stop consuming? I love stop consuming. Me, right? And then just reworking the same information.
Parts, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the opposite.
Totally. He even mentioned in his job where he's like, I've had other people tell me it's okay to stay in my job and like go back over things in my job and get better at those things in my job. I was like, wow, that's the opposite coin of the blast sleep, of reworking that same information. Because what the skib wants to do, the consume play, is like, it's not working. I'm not being supported. I'm not being, you know, helped here, and just jump. But like also having blast last, you wouldn't. So you'd be
Right.
stuck in this very conundrum-like situation of like the blast is scared to jump and move on to the next thing. But you'd have to then, if you're going to stay, you'd have to force yourself to rework that same information to actually make it work at that job.
Right, and that's like what you're seeing with like military style training of like
Yes.
being forced to sit here and master, you know, peeling potatoes
The repetitive.
for however many years until we have that scaled and can teach it.
Right. So yeah, you totally like nailed it. Blast, last. Like, why was that video so hard? That's exactly what we're
Right.
saying. And with the video with you and your friend is asking you all these questions, and you're like, yes,
Right.
No.
I know. And he's like, I'll do a video with my friend where they really get the best out of me. And it's just like,
and he's like, I was more playful. I'm like,
"Blah." Like, well, I learned a lot about your friend,
I know. As a friend is like trying to like, okay,
Yeah.
buddy, talk.
which is great that you send it because you show
Blast, last. That's what Blast is doing, especially if it's like an on the spot
Even
question.
though you're intending to show off, like, look how fun we
How
are
play
together.
we are.
Welcome to awkward videos, right? Keep in the stupid stuff. So
He's like, you smug asshole.
the savior energy is valuing something in the abstract world, lucid dreaming, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and Inception, the visions.
Yeah, and so that's the savior addiction. That's
Yeah.
especially as a 23-year-old, like this isn't something anybody had to twist your arm to do.
Right. That's what your addiction is. That's what you're drawn to.
Right.
Candy.
Very much so, like kind of at that stage in life. It's like the savior functions are awakened, like, oh wow. And it's interesting too, and Jordan Peterson talks a lot about this as well, is like people around like up to around 25, right in those age, give or take, they're at their prime of like, I know the answer to the world. I know how to save the world. I know how to bring meaning to the world, change the world. And it's like this massive aha savior function moment.
Right.
And then if they go and build something with their saviors and it ends up working, Mark
Right.
Zuckerberg or whatever,
Right.
then great job. A lot of people it doesn't work out, and then they have to discover their demons later on in life, and then come back later on and build something with more layers to
Because
it.
you have to have all the parts working.
This is what her and I have had to go through.
Right.
And as NF and ST to balance each other and to become
Yeah,
one.
we both have to do our demons, otherwise we cause just tidal wave problems.
Right.
Yeah.
This objective stuff, all this science is forcing me to ST.
Right.
And then all of this abstract stuff is forcing her to NF.
Right. Absolutely. Big time. So,
Oh, got this one.
yeah, definitely FI there. FI,
And then, so
any FI.
we haven't, we thought the synesthesia.
Okay, so like hands down, I'm like, this is audio. The guy has masculine sensory to hell.
Yep, you can
like,
see it. Yep.
to the max. Just can go all the way back down to 6-year-old. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, the timeline memorization, that
Yeah.
kinesthetic memory.
Even talked about like at one point he was talking about like the subwoofers and movement. I was like, yeah, you're kinesthetic.
Yeah.
It's feeling.
You're not
feeling
remembering
and
things.
hearing.
Yeah. Kinesthetic modalities. It's something that's so easy for us to see. There's a lot of research.
But super interested in like visions and the art and having the visuals connected through the audio. Like,
Yes.
I think that is the synesthesia game. That would be my guess, because I'm like, I'd love to hear more about like what are you actually experiencing visually, because I know what it's like for me, and it's just a constant all day. I have a hard time communicating because I am always seeing, and so like visuals right now distract from what's in my head. So it's like I have to go back into my head so that I can even talk, that. So is it like a once in a aha moment of like, I had this visual and it was really amazing and therefore I remembered it, all 10 of them? Or is it a constant thing that's happening? And the synesthesia, the way they talk about it is a disorder where like the wiring is connecting off, and where the visuals are going is through a different channel. So I have that too. So for me, it's like visual on top of visual, because I am visual, and then I'm also synesthesia.
Right.
So it's just like everything's visual.
That's why we were thinking at first that synesthesia would just be an amplifying of visual people, but
Yeah.
we're seeing that might not be the case.
And I'd be interested to hear more from you about your experience, because that's totally a unique thing that I haven't heard too much about, of somebody who is totally audio, like you're audio, bro. And I think he probably knows that. But then like those visual descriptions and experiences, it definitely sounds like some
So
maybe
years
wiring.
down the road, this is just another of so many different sub-studies that the
Right.
operators would do. Like, so this would be probably a 2-year study, or if a small group of operators do, like, all right, now that the internet is at scale, present day and future day,
Right.
it's as simple as going into YouTube and just typing in synesthesia and then just going through hundreds of kids in their bedroom giving their reports about synesthesia. So you're first checking like, okay, do they actually have synesthesia based upon this definition? Yes or no? Okay,
Totally.
great. So if yes, take them to this department. And
Type
then from there, it's typing them and
Yeah.
just take the data sets with no theory. Dave's got a theory already trying to shove it on there and it's not
Yeah,
working out.
yeah.
And then from there, as you get these large data sets, you're like, okay, there are patterns showing up. Sometimes when we've done this, there are none. I remember when we tried to track down right-handed and left-handed, the theory would be that like NF people would be left-handed.
Oh yeah,
right?
and it fell apart.
Like nothing.
We've had so many patterns come and go
Yeah.
that didn't hold to anything. And what's weird is that the modalities just hung around on like a back burner for so long. And I was the one that kept saying, they're not connected, it's dumb. They're
Right.
not connected, it's dumb.
Right.
Until it was like, wait a minute.
Right.
And then it bizarrely connected to the sexuals.
Right.
That was so weird.
So that's all how we do it is standard scientific method. We get some possibility, some
Yes.
theory, and then we just know how to play this data set game with YouTube where you can get in tons of data, sort it out, know how to track it so you're
Yeah.
getting objective with
Yeah.
the two people, and then look at the clump and go move it
and
to
you
the next
have to
station.
be falsifiable about
Right.
it. You have to try and prove your theory wrong.
Right.
So you're not trying to make something happen,
The side thing on that is that there are so many fascinating patterns here, more than we
Right.
can track.
Yeah.
It helps a lot to not have this desire of like, I have to force a pattern, because it's just like, there are so many patterns here.
Wow.
And if, I may want this one to work out and it doesn't, oh well, because this one over here is working out.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to be at one with the reality instead of like, yay, I got a cookie.
Yeah, you can't be an IJ about it. And then just, technically what we're tracking, and we're going to be explaining this more in the classes and stuff, is and this changes for people depending on their age. A lot of people that are older, they tend to a lot of times start to hate their saviors. So we'll see, we've had a couple of people this week that were
Yeah.
savior SI, and they're older, 50s and 60s, and they're like, I hate SI. I hate being responsible for the realities.
Yeah.
I hate it. But it's like they're savior SI,
And I would even say, like, this is just my own personal opinion, but like sometimes it does depend on the function. It's like SI is really hard. You have to
Right.
take all this outside world shit, same thing with you, all this outside world shit and somehow put it in a controlled setup. Like, that's not how reality works. Somebody like Kevin here with the NE, it's like, yay, more new patterns. And like the
Yeah.
world is such a fractal mess of like a candy mine of that,
That's very true. It could be
it's
one.
super anecdotal. Obviously, anybody can be like, I hate my first function, especially the more they're
So
like,
one
grown.
other thing that I'd be interested in is we did that video on YouTube of like just recently, like there's 3 reasons why people are typing themselves wrong, and one of them was the social value stigma.
Oh, right.
So some of that's going on in there. But I wonder
Right.
too, like the ENFPs in particular seem to be the highest group that actually type themselves as ENFPs.
Because there isn't any like, I don't like every single ENFP we talk to is like, oh yeah, I love the mind explosions. You're like,
Yeah.
well, and that's just our very limited data set, but it's still interesting that consistently we have been seeing the lead SIs or savior SIs being like, I hate the details.
right.
I hate having to do all the planning. I hate it.
Right.
I'm not good with the details. And you're like,
Yeah. You
But,
see that too
yeah.
with FEs. They hate being responsible for the tribe's emotions.
oh yeah,
So we do.
because it's draining.
Right. You see the TIs, they're all wrapped up in their feelings at the bottom and they're all caught up in
Right.
that. They're always typing themselves wrong.
Right.
One of the most common people that type themselves wrong is lead TIs.
Right.
They have a really hard time with the emotions spinning around. They can't see it.
Right, because that's such a
And you are a boring, middle of the road, standard, nothing special,
boring. That's like the death word for
run of the mill,
EP.
like you actually hit the center of the bell curve. Just a boring ass ENFP.
He's like, oh
Just
no.
no variety. Just right in the middle of the bell curve. Like
He's like, ow, 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 ow.
just nothing special going on. And so, yeah, Myers and Briggs, like they seem to kind of they had to start somewhere on the
Right.
spectrums of each type, 32
Right.
ENFPs, and they just kind of hit kind of the middle. We're not necessarily seeing that it's spread out through population, so it's not like there's more people in the middle.
Nope.
There's ones that are kind of balanced like you, and then some that are extremely extroverted,
Right.
extremely introverted, extremely masculine, extremely feminine, etc.
Right. Take a handful of pebbles and then throw them at the wall.
Yeah.
And that's like what we're seeing.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, or the end of the century when this is all done, there really is no starting point. There's no like zero guy, you
Right.
know? Like it's being uncovered starting from here and folding out, but that's just an arbitrary point.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Do we have the 64 in here? Scroll down.
I don't think so.
Yes.
Oh, we
Scroll
do.
up. Yeah, there you are.
Yeah.
Right there. Right there.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. Highlighted,
Yeah.
even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Where the hell are we?
Go back. Okay, great. Yeah, right there in the middle. Super cool. There you are. Let's go through some wiring.
Yeah, we'll just go ahead and take a look at that. We'll rebuild this real quick.
Yeah.
And let's do the, we'll have a meeting on this, but like, let's do the,
Okay. We're going to just confuse the hell out of everybody's SI. But yeah, we're going to start.
Yeah.
The only reason I like the A is because the activation, and then it does share that it connects to activated.
All right, fine.
And then the dash shows like, yeah, like that's
Problem
what
is
it
people are like, but I do have that. I'm like, I know you have that.
Okay, I see what problem you're trying to
That's
solve.
the problem.
Yeah.
I have an awesome thing right there. Can I put A for awesome?
I totally do
You
that.
don't even know how good I am at this.
I know.
I'm sorry. I'm
Every
typing.
know-it-all is like, I have consume.
Let me throw away my checklist and type you based upon what you're good at says you. Ready, go.
Magic. Oh, God. All right. Yes, let's go through this fun little SI repetitive, boring, drain the hell out of you game.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Insert chaos.
I know. Where the hell is my fucking thing? There we go. All right, cool. So save your 1, save your 2. That equals consume, which we jump over here to do. Consume, and the binary coin of that, blast. So you have your introverted information animal and your extroverted information animal. So consume, play, sleep. We'll get to this in a minute, but like one thing we're noticing when somebody has a dominance of the energy animals, they tend to care more about the energy game as opposed to those that have a dominance about the, like they have consume and blast. They seem to care more about the information game, even if they're like lead consume.
Yeah.
Or lead.
It's like it's trying to balance. It's like the introvert extrovert thing. It's like trying as hard as it can to get a sum total balance.
Right.
But
and you have both of the introverted animals, so I would assume you would type yourself possibly as an introvert.
Right. That's true. 2 out of 3 introverted animals equals introverted energy subtotal.
Yeah.
According to the way we define it.
Right.
So yeah, you would actually be an introvert defined by the sum.
Yeah.
By our math.
Yeah, definitely. Like me too. I'm lead play, but still, have consume and sleep. So totally. Cool. So what ends up happening is you have savior 1 on consume, obviously, or 1. That always happens with this first guy here, and then
Savior 2.
Thank you.
Get your facts straight.
What the hell? Get my SI straight. The second animal is what triggers another activation on the actual function stack. So you'll have consume play. Play is NE and TE. So it's going to jump over here and activate this one. And just basically all that means is that you are aware of, conscious of the tribe, care about the tribe, want things to work for the tribe, have the ability to use that because of the play. So you're not like an, oh my God, mumblefuck, consume, sleep,
True. It gets worse.
It gets
It could be worse.
Could be worse than you. And then, which he saw this. He was like, I think I'm lead consume.
Yeah.
It's like, yep. And then I think he saw this too.
Right.
Yeah, damn good. So yeah, savior 2, and then this is activated. That's what the like processing in the car is all about. You're like crying and like processing, stopping, and going, yeah, man. And that whole video of him, the first one, he's like, wow, that was a lot of stuff I had to get out.
Processing power is running behind the consume and play, desperately trying to get up in these crashes because there's too much running and consuming.
Right. Yeah, for you to stop and have to communicate to a therapist about a dark issue that's in your past and then you're like, whoa, where did that come from? And now you're talking about it again in the car. Like, you're trying to process, but like somebody that's saved your sleep is like is going over that kind of information consistently. You know, it's more of like, I'm trying to play this stop, process past pain, process self, that kind of stuff. So yeah, especially for you with the SI, processing past pain, you know, known information there. And then, yeah, just exactly like you explained it. In fact, you understand it really well. You understand the parts really well. Like, you're like, there was this one time I had to blast at this girl at a camp, and it was so out of, like, character where I had to yell at her.
I had to be the SITE. I had to be the STJ, drill sergeant asshole. I had to be my boss.
I had to be that bad guy that yells at people.
Yeah, the controlling person. Let's do the activate real quick. So you already get this, I'm sure. The NE, the FI gets it's pinging. We kind of like it's a pinging, right? So it goes ding. It gets one there and one there. So the two different lines. Right. Yep, you already got it.
Right.
I got it. And then the NE and the TE. So you're getting that one again, that one again, and then this one, the FI and the SI.
Right. So you're doubling up on your saviors.
And then we skip the kind of flickery one.
Yeah.
Right.
Just wired flickers.
So NF times NF.
And then, I know. I was like, whatever he is definitely doubling down.
And then double masculine introverted world.
Very movable on the outside.
And then what gives you the MF scores? We're tracking the sensory first, and the extroverted decider. It doesn't matter if it's a savior or demon or whatever.
Right.
So you're getting the MF on our sexual code, right?
Right.
And by the way, we don't have anybody in your group that is the male and bisexual or anything like that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
As he says, like seconds before turning off the video, we're like, dude.
Yeah.
By the way, you can also put a B by my name.
I'm like, for what, bitch? What did you just say? What?
At the end of the video, like, by the way, if you were a decider, it's likely that would have been something you were processing the entire video.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I have this thing on the side. Next, moving on.
This huge issue, this huge life.
Like a part of my identity.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But as well as it's probably like in his, he's recording it at work. I don't know how much social pressure you get there from the church environment.
Sure.
Or how much he's, how much bisexual or whatever.
Right.
Or, there's a whole scale of this stuff.
Is it Kinsey?
Sure, Kersley.
Kinsey, not Kersley. God damn.
Whatever, some guy. I think it's Kersley.
No, Kinsey scale.
Oh, fine. Kinsey.
Yeah.
Kinsey scale.
I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, great. Consume that, would you?
I'll do it later.
The point is, like, this is something that this is like our largest, most passionate thing that we are objectively tracking is how normal this is.
Right.
Like the spectrum of the gender, like, oh my God, it's so true.
The females of you're literally Doc 77 that we talk about all the time. The females of that doc is the most heavy doc of like transgender.
Yeah.
Did we even put all the women on there yet?
So
I don't think
it's like 75% or more.
Right.
If you're a female, are going to be transgender or LGBT of your type.
Right. Here's your doc. You see it all the damn time.
Here's your buddies. And you would be specifically Aaron Paul.
Yeah, Aaron Paul.
These two guys are very aggressive.
Right. I bet different social needs.
Yeah.
Like he's probably got friends.
Or he has a hard time with friends. I don't know what his social needs are.
This feels elite.
Or he has friends, you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like friends as a friends.
Right. I don't know what
elite.
I don't know what Kevin has.
Friends.
Now that guy's the most feminine guy that we've seen.
That's true.
He's not gay. He's married to a double masculine girl.
Yeah.
But he's been the closest to gay we've seen.
Right.
In this group.
Right.
Usually by the time we have a group this large.
And crazy guy, he's very gay-ish. I don't think he's gay, but he's got the, I would say, tendencies.
This was, was my best friend since teenage years. We grew up in the church together. I just like your life story. I'm like, oh gosh, this guy's Jeff.
Yeah.
Like everything you're going through, like and like his jobs, same damn job as you.
Oh, yeah, you have the same job.
Same job, and then it's like we see several guys like that. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, I'm kind of the tech guy. I do it all. I do the cameras. I do the editing. I'm the kind of weird owl of the place, and everybody comes to me. I can figure out everyone else's job.
Yeah.
I come in late. My boss is always on my back. The same damn story. It's just true. It's like so routine. Honestly, like all joking not aside, it is so routine. Like,
Yeah.
because of this group, we have so many of them.
There's so much, like, if we had to write profiles today, the only one we could really write would be this doc.
Yes.
Because you're like, there's a lot of reoccurring
Yeah.
patterns.
We even
and you
got
could
some in
definitely-
the spillover doc
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And then, do you even FI depression beard, bro? And
I know,
that's,
we talk a lot about that.
yeah, the FI depression beard.
That's what we call it.
Yeah.
And
Plus,
everybody has red hair, which it looks like Kevin has like a tinge of that.
does he?
Slightly. I mean, it's brown, but it seems like brown, which if you were to bleach some parts, it would be very red, you know?
Sure. Jeff's got brown hair, but red in his beard.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, the red seems to show up more with the extroverted groups.
Yeah.
Well, this is more red.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, there's a little red in here.
yeah.
But again, you get different races and stuff. It's not like they're going to have red hair.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on over there in Australia. Seems like a lot of people in a small area. I don't know what kind of screwy stuff's going on.
I'm sure there's all kinds of social economic jokes we could go off of there.
Sure.
Okay, so yeah, definitely the reoccurring life issues are definitely always going to be about damn the man.
Yes.
Damn the man
These two.
who is controlling me.
That's what we consistently see with those ENFPs. Just the hatred for the ISTJ.
Yeah,
Even though you end up marrying one.
I know.
Trust me on that. God damn.
They all do.
Yeah.
Actually, some of the guys in that group will find
Our ISFJ.
ISFJs.
Yep. So you're just like one off.
Yeah, and they go for double.
My
feminines
brother. That's
often.
one of those. Is my brother in there.
Yeah.
And he's recently found an ISFJ girl.
Double feminine.
Yeah.
And then Jeff has a double feminine ISTJ.
Yeah. Yeah. And et cetera,
Yeah.
throughout here.
Yeah, right. I know. Just go find
Yeah.
whoever they're actually married to, and you're like, oh, look at that, you found an IJ. Weird.
Right.
Just looking for the balance.
All right. So life stuff, right? The thing with the demons, which will hold you back and keep you in kid zone forever.
Yes.
Like, what's the difference between a kid and an adult, a beta and an alpha?
Wow.
It's
There you
responsibility. You're making your boss fucking babysit you. Like, that's kid zone.
Which
Like,
he knows. He
right.
does know that.
And so it's like, well, why? Well, it's because you're not taking responsibility for the mission that you're in. You're not looking at the church ministry as the greatest thing in the world that you got to fight and die for and struggle with these great things. So you're just on.
You wouldn't kill yourself for it.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
And I know the feeling. That's how I am with these damn computers. I'm like, I don't care. You're gonna have
Not responsible for that.
You'll have to beat me to do the bare minimum of this bullshit.
Right.
And that's where I'm a kid/beta in this
Yep.
area and many more, right?
Right.
But if it's like in the important things of like, oh shit, I have to be a father, a husband, a business leader, like I gotta now be the boss and I gotta pull out all the stops and be responsible for
Yeah,
everything,
right.
including my S and my T.
Yeah, and what we consistently see with your type and any other type that has that FI dominant is that if you are not like FI attached, your values are attached to this is who I am, this is my mission in life.
You
will never do the control needed, the scheduling, the structure, the anal details, going off of the rules, like literally respecting the rules. You would have to limit all that wonderful mind explosion any and stick to very rigid, very closed-minded in all those areas in order to balance the universe and give to the whole of your mission, because every function is needed.
Right.
We have to do SI.
And how do we know this? From literally the last 20 years, slowly over time, building up the stories. Like I've known this guy since I was a kid, so 30
Yeah.
years. I've known him for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Or a little bit longer than that.
Right.
And it's like, and then my brother, I've known him my whole life. Times a lot of these people, right? And so over time, you see that their struggle is exactly that. And they say, practically they say like, look, I know what the right thing is to do. I know what I should do. I know. But the reality is I can't get away from
I just don't care.
my double activated masculine FI that I'm fully aware of going, fuck you. I'm not going to do it.
don't value that.
I don't value it.
I
just
can't go against my values.
And then also I see that there's so many better options out there. So go ahead. Try and take those forces and conquer them. Just try harder, right? It's not going to work.
Right.
So it's got to get those in alignment. The saviors have to align. And then your saviors will now attack the shit out of your demons.
Right.
And your savers will be like, look, I see in the spectrum that this is what I want to do. I love this.
Yes.
I'm willing to do whatever it takes, including beat on myself. And I got to be the SI rigid boss and be
Right.
here at 4 a.m. I'm going to do it.
Totally.
And now you have this, we call it sudden genius syndrome. You see it all the time.
Yeah.
Somebody who's a total idiot, a total jackass, all of a sudden they want to do it. And all of a sudden they came up with the money to fly to Paris because
yeah.
that's what they wanted to do.
Totally. So it would have to be something, of course, that your FI is locking onto. You have to have that, the consistent thread that you were talking about with MBTI stuff. You'd have to have something that throughout your entire life that you're like, I will never let go of this. I will never let go of this. And then it's not just that, because that's just savior functions, right? Okay, yes, I really am like, this makes me happy. I do value this. I do love this. I do see this as an area where I can grow in my own self and then therefore give to others. It's not just that. You have to have an objective goal so that it forces you to be accountable to reality. Because you're like, if this really is my goal, if I do really love that, I have to put something out there on the horizon line and say, I'm going to make it to that point. And then you either don't make it or you do. And if you don't, you have to push on functions that you don't like. Okay, if I'm going to meet that goal, that means I have to come in exactly at the same time, do repetitive bullshit that drains the fuck out of me. And that's the reality. Like, all of that is going to be required to be successful in anything in life. Anything.
Yeah, a thing that we've been really looking at here recently in our own lives is like, how you have like, let's see, 2 out of 3 are introverted, therefore you get a sum total of introverted. And then you have 2 out of 3 are the energy coins, therefore your sum total is energy. Like, a big thing that we've been really finding is this. You have like, and this is a lot of Tony Robbins stuff that we're kind of simplifying. You have desire, and then you have actions and results. And what are your 2 out of 3? Like, we're constantly seeing that, like, even when we're bullshitting ourselves around here, it's like, well, I wanted to clean that. I wanted to upgrade that. I wanted to do that. It's like, hey, jackass, but you haven't done anything. Mm-hmm. And therefore, there's no results, and there's no results moving along. And like, it's been a very big eye-opener for us to really do this assessment of like, talking about all these stupid things that we want to do and then just walking out of the room and no action. Tony Robbins is huge about, hey, you want to do something, jackass? Then do something now.
Right now.
Start creating the actions to prove it. Right. Prove it to yourself and reality and the sum total of your math. Right. And then let the results start building up and actually see them. Because when all 3 of these are united, like, they really talk about, the bottom line is like, you will become your identity. Yeah. And if your identity is unconscious because you're a kid or you have a fourth or whatever the hell, you're distracted, then you will still become that identity. This is distracted, nobody wandering around. It's consistent.
It is amazing how consistently we ask the question of like, where do you want to be in 10 years or whatever? And how many people will just start giving us this like wish list of like, I really want, and I'd love to be a millionaire, and I'd love to, live on a beach, and I'd love to, and it's just this desire list where they're just going through, and then you realize, wait a minute, that's how you're living your life, where
just sitting around.
110% of the time you're just rattling off a desire list and then putting in 0 action to ever make that real. And if people realize that desire list, if you dial it the fuck down, get it closer to reality, and anytime you have any desires, instantly putting in action, so these 2 are constantly working together and balancing each other, not having 110% desire and then 0 actual movement on it.
Yeah. One other silly pattern that's really helping us in our personal life is realizing that, like, this is how everybody feels, is I want to just, I'm heading towards an obstacle. Let me just hit the afterburners and go straight up the mountain. And it doesn't work that way. You can't go from, I'm a slugging around loser, and all of a sudden I have massive amount of disciplines and massive amount of thrust, and I can just conquer a mountain in one shot.
Right, I'll be awesome someday.
Everybody calls it 0 to perfect.
Yeah.
If I can't just jump in and be awesome at whatever it is I want to do and get my shit together, then I suck, and I'll just stay down here at the bottom, / crash into the side of the mountain, and you're dead, nobody likes you.
Right. If I can't do it all, well, I think he even said this in his video. He's like, if I can't do it all at once, I don't want to do it because the chip away would kill me. By the way, that's blast. And everyone does that because it's a 0 to perfect mentality. But we can also talk about that after.
We're constantly finding in our own lives and seeing this pattern in other people, like you have to go backwards before you go forwards. No, you can't shoot straight up the mountain. You don't have afterburner. You're not awesome. You're not special.
You haven't built up those skills.
Right.
This is the hero's journey.
Right.
I have to go down into the shit and suck for a while. Low value, low social value. You went backwards. You lost your job. You had to go live in your car. Shitty.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm moving up. Oh, shit. I have so much more to discover. Go back into the darkness of my past. Deal with issues. Oh, my God, I suck. Okay, now I'm starting to get traction. Okay, now I can deal with this large boulder, whereas this guy is just trying all day long to constantly wait to the last minute, go too long, and then boom, maybe someday I'll be awesome.
Literally talked to a lady this week, just had her 60th birthday, and just going, my standards are so high, my need for perfectionism is so high.
I won't even do anything.
I used to have a lot of money, I used to be married, have kids, I've just lost it all, and I'm stuck, and how can you help me just go from here to up here? And it's just like, it does not work that way.
Yeah.
And like, watching the biography channels and the study and the struggles that everyone goes through, it is that hero's journey, whether it's that analogy or, you know, the circular analogy of the hero's journey going in the darkness and stuff.
Right.
Look at all the hero's journey in the Bible. Like, does anybody go from here to the mountaintop? They go through hell.
Right.
And it's really being
movie.
What has worked for us is in our mid-30s, like really accepting that process. Like, oh,
I'm at the bottom again.
Right.
Sucks. Well, here we go.
Yeah. And therefore, it's like, when I'm 25, I was thinking about, I think I'll be where I want, or I'm going to work to be where I want to be by the time I'm 40.
Right.
And then hit it just about right on.
Right.
I didn't try and be anywhere by 35.
Right.
It's not enough time.
So just to put a couple layers here on these guys, because this is where the reoccurring troubles are going to be. This one here is Blast Last. The issues with that is wanting everything to be full and perfect before you ever get started. That is going to hinder you all day long because it's this desire for a massive amount of consuming. There's too much information. I need more information. There will never be enough information before I can ever actually move and get started and jump. That will kill you. That will take you out because you have to be able to not have enough information and move without all of that perfect information coming in.
This guy here, your buddy here, he's really good because he's got the play blessed. So he is very good at that, of sloppily jumping in when it's not perfect.
Yeah.
He also is really good because as a Christian, where you're kind of like stuck in kind of this, you know, nice world, it's really good to see how much value and useful stuff there is out in the dirty world.
Right.
You know, this is a very solid guy, very good caring guy, but he's doing a pickup artist, so it's a lot of, you know, sinful, dirty stuff, right? Well, not in quotes, but, you know, truly. But the ability of like, wait, this guy's heart, this guy's actions, this guy's ability to set goals and get through it, even though he's a distraction, any idiot, like that is something that we constantly watch him to go, how can we get more of that? Of like, look, size up the situation, consume, figure it out, love it, great. Now jump in. The guy forces himself, even at 37 years old, 37, 38, to go out every night consistently and do his craft of picking up girls. Why?
Yes.
Because he knows that he needs to keep putting himself out there in uncomfortable situations and hone it in.
Yes. So that's his blast side, as well as he has figured out how to put the structure on himself. As an EP, if you don't put the structure on yourself, somebody else has to jump in and control you. That's what that SI is you having to do. And because he's done that, the consistency of getting out there every single night and creating that structure for him, he is financially free. Yeah. He made it for himself.
Right.
Consistency was his game, and he won.
Right.
So that is the right way to deal with it. It's never going to be perfect. You're never going to have the right time. You will never have all of the information in. You literally have to play the chip away game where you are constantly creating an objective goal for yourself and then working on it in the worst cracks of time, making your way to the end goal. And we call it duct tape versions. You have to do shitty ass versions of something before you ever make it to the end, because there is no way to go from 0 to perfect. You have to slop it out to make your way there. Same thing that you would do in like video games. You have to start from that level 1 and work your way up. You can't just jump to the end. And that's getting used to the game of, this is uncomfortable, it's not perfect, I feel like I don't have enough information. You never will. There never will be a perfect time to ever actually blast. You want, yeah, goal in life, be transformed. Yep, definitely. Hero's Journey is a big one. And that one you can see in every movie. So go take your NE, watch every movie, and watch the hero go into the darkness, play the W story that they talk about where they're down at the bottom in the dumps, sucking, and, you know, that's in the human existence. That's what we all are trying to simulate and then never doing. So it's like if you don't actually go through that process of pushing towards that pain, it's not going to happen. And guess what is painful for you? Guess what you have to work on? Every story you told us about how your boss, he attacked you, he embarrassed you, he yelled at you, like move towards those things that guy had to fill in your blanks for.
Right.
You left that void. Anytime you're getting yelled at by the universe.
Why is he your middleman? Why is he your babysitter? Like your boss gives you 59 things to do on Friday night. You're like, this guy's a jerk. Why are you not in his, I know the answer. Like, why are you not in his situation going, what is the overall goal of the business? How do we keep the lights on? How do we stay profitable? What are the dirty things your boss has to do? You think he likes beating idiots for a living? Think he likes beating your ass? You're making him get his hands dirty.
Right.
He now is having to become a cold, hard jerk because you're a slack ass.
Right.
And so it's like, as a kid, you're going, shit, this is horrible.
Right.
And now you're taking that dirty, gross stuff with you. And last thing that you were talking about before, like, oh, I did something really bad when I was 7 years old. I did something really bad.
Good
Great,
point.
you did something really bad when you're 37 years old. Wait till you see what that is, right?
Right.
It's like, are you a bad person? Yes. Fuck yeah, you're a bad person. You're a horrible piece of shit.
So what you are scared of is true.
Yeah.
And we all
are. And
you
know who's a great guy? Adolf Hitler, because he cared about his people. And at least he did something about it, right? And so it's like, whoa, like
wait, what?
I am Adolf Hitler, and Adolf Hitler is Mother Teresa. Like when you really get into, there is no like, I did
you're
this.
You're good. You're bad. No, none of us are good or bad. That's
right
silly.
in this psychological context, right?
Yeah, obviously, we don't agree with what Hitler did.
So, right, and so we're also not doing an exact parallel with Bible teachings because there is black and white, good and bad, and sin and salvation. I get it, right?
Right.
But what we're really finding is like, accepting, yes, I am a liar, I'm dirty, I do horrible things, and it's like, and I'm going to do more worse things in the future, but it's like, own it. Yes, I did some horrible thing. You know, what did you do when you were 7 years old? Was it abuse somebody? You know, sexually abuse somebody? Was it really, really, really off the charts bad? Well, is it so bad that you should be put in jail? Well, maybe you go to jail and you pay your time. Like, it's like,
what does reality say, you know?
There's really bad shit that everybody's going to have to do, and you're going to have to get your hands dirty by mistake, or you meant to, or you didn't mean to, or you were young, or you didn't know, whatever. It's like, those are your scars in life. You're going to get hit to hell in life, and you just own it.
The more you avoid those things and avoid looking at those things, you will consistently run towards them. That is exactly what we are constantly creating.
Right.
Yeah. Whatever you fear, you manifest into reality.
Because it creates this weird void circle that indirectly starts to, in a weird kind of way.
The way you talk about it is like if you're riding a bike, you're like, don't hit the pole, don't hit the pole, don't hit the pole. Yeah, I guess Tony Robbins talks about that.
Yeah.
And then you hit the pole because your mind is so obsessing about it unconsciously and then manifesting it in reality. Just the way our whole system works.
So how do you let go of the guilt? It's expanding the worldview, expanding the NF to a new understanding that bad things are accepted in this world, in this psychological world, that it is not doesn't make you some total bad. It's kind of like where you add up the introvert extrovert. Yeah. If nothing you do the rest of your life is just all bad, then yeah, sure, we can all call you bad at the end of your life and say we all hate you, right? But it's like, if I've done a lot of bad things and I'm only 23 and I'm still doing a lot of good things, what's my ratio?
It's more about your brain is wired to grow and give. In this planet, did you figure out how to grow yourself, which is taking care of all of your responsibilities, being a fucking alpha, choosing to take responsibility for your demon functions, your demon animals, all of that stuff. I am responsible for everything in my life that I have grabbed. And then, now that you've built your own self and not just been a savior function fuck, giving to others, taking what you've built, and then figuring out how to communicate it to the rest of the world. How do I pass this on? That is where your brain will be wired to get, joy, peace, life, meaning from. And then you will be seen actually objectively as somebody that has given to the planet. then
Right.
people will say, yes, that is somebody who is good.
Right.
Doesn't matter if you've done bad, and it's like,
Yes.
relative.
Jordan Peterson, especially in his older videos on his channel, as well as Owen Cook, they have helped us a lot.
So much so.
And as well as Darren Brown, they've helped us because we were very much strong Christians. I was very much into apologetics and theology. That's why I know a lot about at least back in the day I did anyways, Seventh-day Adventists and all the groups, because we would go and kind of interact and debate with all the different groups and stuff.
Right.
And it was a very hard time emotionally over the years to kind of move a little bit more out of that worldview into kind of the worldview we are now.
Right.
There's a lot of things that were very hard of kind of leaving Christianity, because you kind of have this good structure that makes a lot of sense and it works, right? But then there were a lot of things that were never solved in Christianity.
That was a
the
hard...
guilt,
Yeah.
the shame. Everyone in your church is struggling with masturbation. They can't talk about it.
Right.
All sorts of toxic, weird stuff. And the leaders of the church are doing bad things behind the scenes. Wait till you see that play out over the years, right?
I know, that was traumatizing when I worked at
It's
Hume
everywhere.
Lake.
It's
Yeah.
everywhere. And it's like there's no difference in the lives of the church people as there is in Owen Cook and all the rest of his buddies. Well, what
Right.
the hell?
How do I resolve that?
How do I resolve that?
Yeah.
Then seeing a lot of for example, last point, Christianity solves 90% of things you got to deal with, but there's a few dark areas where it's just I can't help you.
Yeah.
And everyone struggles. Jordan Peterson, Owen, and Darren Brown say, look, this thing with guilt and expanding the worldview and realizing that we're all bad, we're all good, and the way that these guys really explain it, it does become very Zen freeing, where you're realizing there is a need for light and darkness. There's a need for good and bad. There's a need for this, and it's okay, at least on this non-perfect planet that we're on. And that makes things feel a lot more better, because as the bad comes and it hits you, which so much more is coming, it's able to just be part of the process.
Because you're able to process things in reality instead of resisting large, massive areas of reality.
Right. And this took me years to go through this. But this guy and these guys really, really helped me with how do I expand my Christian worldview and get into areas that help me deal with all of the sin and guilt and shame and darkness.
Right.
And these guys
So
have
you can process
really helped me a lot
in reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
All right, man.
Well, it's been really cool getting to know you.
Yeah,
I'm so
absolutely.
excited that you're in our class, so we get to continually get to know you.
Yes.
And we'll probably be doing more the Zoom chat meetups in the future.
Right.
So
Right. And the operator position is always open. You just got to come out here and take it. There's no...
no one's going to give it to you.
There's
no you're hired. We don't do
Yeah.
any fake shit.
It's fly over here or swim over here, and it's basically just owning it. It's look, you are going to be an owner of this business, especially the sooner somebody's here, the more they would have responsibility and ownership. And it's look, here's all the responsibilities that need to get done. We're going to get them done with or without you or anyone
Right.
else. But this is what needs to be done.
Right.
And so now it's not a game of tell me what to do and I will do. No. That's not the situation. It's here's the challenges. They're now your challenges.
Yes, and we will turn up the fire on situations like your boss is yelling at you. If that's an area that you're oh, I don't like that. I don't go there. I don't accept that. Guess what gets dumped on you?
We can help you with that.
More boss yelling at you. Any area that you're oh, that I don't like. It's all right, here we go.
You can't-
all day long until you don't care.
You're sitting down typing people at scale. You can't have guilt, pain, shame, fear. It fucks with your head. You'll never type people objectively, nor would you be any worth at all helping people at scale if you're coming loaded with all this fear and pain.
Because now they're going to ask you, what do I do? And you're oh, I don't know. I haven't solved that issue.
You got to punch your boss. You got to get the hell out of them and don't let them control you.
Damn the man.
Yeah. Anyways, lots of opportunity. We really
If you grab it and take it.
and we really like you. You're an awesome dude.
We do really like you. Mm-hmm. I know he was worried about that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not that everybody doesn't have their own thing, but you've got a lot of observations and consciousness and understanding and skill.
He's a high conscious guy. Very smart, high conscious guy.
A really damn good heart. So, yeah, great
All right,
dude.
Kevin, we'll see you around.
All right, man.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.